y squared minus 2y. Okay, write each term. The step number 1 is write each term in the factorized form. Means y into y minus 2 into y. And the step number 2, find the common factor. So here, these are the two common factors. See, you can see y is common here as well as y is common here. Take it out. The step number 3, write those factors outside the bracket. Write these common factor. Once you identify the common factor, write the common factor outside the bracket as y. The factor which is left here is y. And here we have left with the minus 2. And then write everything else inside the bracket. So whatever you left here as y minus 2, that you have to place them inside the bracket. Very simple. As well as here, n squared minus 7n. So we can write it as n into n, 7 into n. So n is common factor and n minus 7 are the two other factors. So write the common factor outside the bracket and other factors inside the bracket. So over here, x into x plus 7 into x. Therefore, x is the common factor and x and 7 are the other factors. So place them inside the bracket. So here, 6 and 9, there is no highest common factor between them. But before that, you please write them in a factorized form as 3 into 2 plus 3 into 3 into x. Now, if you look, 3 is common on both of the sides. So take 3 as the common factor and here 2 plus other 3x and write them inside the bracket. Okay. So now we have 3e squared. So first of all, write them in a factorized form, which is also known as expanded form. Okay. Write them in a standard form. Then take the common. So as you can see, e is common on both of the sides. Take the common factor outside the bracket. And here we left with the 3e and plus here we left with the 5. Place them inside the bracket. Over here, we can write 3 into x plus 3 into 2. So 3 is the common factor. So take them outside the bracket and x plus 2 as inside the bracket. I hope you understand the easy. Okay. So these are the quadratic equations factorizing. So let's see how to factorize this 3-term question. Okay. So actually, we have to write them in, the answer should be within these two brackets. And here, x squared, we can write it as the factors x and x. Now, if you see, this is the minus 10. So our product is going to be minus 10 and our sum is going to be positive 3. Means when you choose the factors for tens, for example, we have 2 and 10, 1 and 10 are the factors. So here we have to choose the factors as 2 and 5 because when we add them, we should get 3. Means, see, look, we need here minus 10, right? So we have to multiply with the different signs here. So the sign of this sum, positive 3, will go for the larger number and the other sign should be negative because we are going to subtract the factors. So plus 5 and negative 2, which is going to be positive 3. So our factors are going to be negative 2 and positive 5 and keep your answer this simple within the two brackets. Okay. Now, here your product is going to be positive 16 and your sum is going to be negative 10, right? Therefore, get the factors for 16. So 4 and 4, or you can say 8 and 2. So I must go with this factor so that when I add them, I must get 10, right? So the sign of multiplication, so negative into negative should be positive. That means my two factors should have negative and negative sign. So when I add them, I will get negative 10. So my two brackets, I have to write the answers in two brackets where y square will be split as y and the two factors are going to be y minus 8 and y minus 2. Is that very simple? Now, factorize and solve. Okay, there are two things we have here. So put them within the two brackets as your answer. When you expand the x square, we can write it as x and x. So now my product is going to be positive 27. Get the factors for 27. So we have 9 3s are 27 and we have 9 3s are 27 and minus 2, minus 12. So when I multiply them, I should get plus 27. When I add them, I should get minus 12. So perfectly, this is the factor which clear my demand. And that must be equal to 0. So it means that P and Q is equal to 0. So separately solve these factors, which is P is equal to 0 and Q is equal to 0. So x minus 9 is equal to 0. So when my negative goes to the other side, it will go here as 0 positive 9. Therefore, x is going to be positive 9. Similarly, x minus 3 is equal to 0. So x is equal to positive 3. So when you have equal to 0, you have to solve the two factors. Now, this type is quite different, okay? Now, I can write this as y square minus the square of some number. This 100 is a square of some number. What is that number? 10, isn't it? So it is in the form of a square minus b square. This is one of the identity we use the most in the algebra. When you expand this identity, we are going to say it as a plus b and a minus b. You can apply this identity only when you have both of the numbers as square numbers as a whole bracket, okay? Now, my y is going to be a and my 10 is going to be b, and just express this in this form. That's all. Therefore, we can write it within the two bracket as y plus 10 and y minus 10, and this is how you can factorize this type of questions. So once again, we have the three terms, which is the quadratic equation here. So you need to expand them as a product and the sum. So product is the 6 and the sum is going to be positive 7, and both are positive. So if both are positive, my factors are 6 and 1, and they both are positive because I'm going to add the numbers. So y plus 6 and y plus 1 are my factors. Once again here, my product is going to be negative 4 and my sum is going to be positive 3. And if I expand my negative, so negative, you should get, so it will be 4 ones are or 2 twos are. So definitely I'm going to get my 3 from 4 and 1. Look at the sign. So I need positive 3. That means you should understand you are going to subtract the numbers. In order to subtract the numbers, this sign of the sum should go to the big number and this will be negative. Therefore, your factors are going to be x plus 4 and x minus 1. So here if you see, this is again the method where we are going to use our identity in the form of a square minus b square. So we can write them as 49 is a square of 7. So if I expand this, it will be a plus b into a minus b. Therefore, we are going to write it as positive first. And the same number, see, same factors are duplicating itself to get the square number. Over here, first write in a factorized form. Write it in the factorized form. So 12 and a. So 12 into a. And I don't see any common factors between 8 and 12. So I'll write it in the highest common factor between them. So I can write this as 4 into 2 into a plus 4 into 3 into a. So if you look at this, 4 is the common factor. So my common factor here is going to be 4a. Therefore, take the common factor outside and write all the terms inside. So it is going to be 4a is the common factor, 4a bracket 2a positive 3. Okay. So here once again we have product is going to be negative 2 and my sum is going to be negative 1. So if you expand this, I can say that 2 into 1 is equal to 2, or so 2 and 1 is the only factor we have it, right? So I have to place my negative and I'm going to subtract the numbers. Therefore, my factors are going to be y, and negative 2 and positive 1. E square plus 12 plus e minus 12. So write down your product as minus 12 and my sum is going to be positive 1. So if you expand this, 3 4s are 12. So I'm going to subtract the numbers now. You can see it leads to 1. So plus 4 and negative 3. Therefore, e minus 3 and e plus 4. Over here, first write them in the factorized form. So 3 into 2 into x into 1. Therefore, 3 is common and x is common. Also, y is common. So take it out as a common factor. And then what is left here? Here, 1 y is left over here. Minus 3 is outside, 2 and 2 only left from the inside. Okay. Some hard questions here. So first write them in a quadratic form. First write them in a factorized form. Therefore, it's going to be 5 into 4 into x minus 5. As you can see, 5 is the common factor here. So we can write this as 4x squared minus 1. So we took the common out. But if you look at this, inside the bracket, they both are square numbers. So we need to further factorize them. Okay, so here 4x squared minus 1 can be written as 2x into 2x minus 1. So which is 2x whole squared minus 1. So it is in the form of a squared minus b squared and can be written as a plus b into a minus b. So we can write them as 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. Similarly, here are 3 questions. We're going to solve accordingly. Y square minus 4 square. Okay. So we can write them as y plus 4 and y minus 4. So because 4 square is 16. So here, we are going to solve this factorizing quadratic equation where the coefficient of p square is a, which is greater than 1. So let's find out our factors first, which are going to be minus 10 into 2, which is going to be minus 20. So we need to get the factors for this so when we add them, we have to get negative 1. So the factors are 4 and 5, 10 and 2. So we go with this factor as this leads to, if we subtract 5 and 4, we will get to minus 1. So minus and other sign should be positive. So here we found that the factors of minus 20 are positive 4 and negative 5, but we cannot write them in two brackets as we have done in the previous problems. Here we are going to split the middle term. Write the first term as it is, as 2p square minus, write the factors, minus p you write as the factors you choose here, which is going to be 4p minus 5p, and write the last term as it is as negative 10. Okay, so now you group them and factorize them. So here 2 is the common factor, also p is the common factor, and write the other term inside the bracket as p plus 2. And here 5 is the common factor, so here 5 minus is the common, so minus into minus plus and 2. Again you will take p plus 2 as common. This is the two-step factorizing, p plus 2 and the other terms inside the bracket, so 2p and here minus 5. So this is how we have to solve the problems with a coefficient greater than 1. And here 4x square minus 9, once again we can write this as 2x into 2x in the factorized form and 3 into 3, right? So it can be written as 2x whole square minus 3 square, and we can write the two factors as 2x 2 times and 3 plus 3 and minus 3.